Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Sally Burdett, live from Johannesburg. Your top stories this evening.
We're not going to wait for the restructuring to be done. Eskom needs assistance now.
Work on Eskom begins immediately as the finance minister confirms financial support for the power utility could reach 230 billion rand over the next 10 years. The woman who accused ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe of sexual harassment says the party has failed her. And an attempted robbery at Edenvale High School in Johannesburg leaves 2 suspects dead and school children and teachers in total shock. Let's start here. The finance minister has confirmed that the Eskom lifeline of 23 billion rand a year is likely to extend far beyond the 3-year plan announced during the budget speech yesterday. But he says the unbundling of Eskom will help keep track of every cent poured into the power utility. Mboweni was addressing the Finance Portfolio Committee earlier today.
We're not going to wait for the restructuring to be done. Eskom needs assistance now. That's why we're providing the 23 billion over the per annum over the next 3 years. We're sure about, but that will continue for about 10 years, which will come to around 230 billion or something like that. Wherever the Treasury provides funding from now onwards, we are going to install our people there.
Well, MPs held a special debate about the crisis at Eskom today. This debate, of course, coming a day after that budget speech by our Finance Minister Tito Mboweni yesterday. DA MP Natasha Mazzoni says South Africans should be terrified.
Rolling blackouts have rocked the country yet again. A new turnaround strategy is planned for implementation, and I think we can all agree the plans have failed dismally. I have watched year after year, Eskom board after Eskom board, rolling blackout after rolling blackout, Eskom price increase after Eskom price increase. Eskom just gets worse. As a state-owned entity, the company simply cannot function.
Well, rival unions NUMSA and the NUM could soon be marching side by side, united in the concern over Eskom's unbundling plans. The National Union of Metal Workers, NUMSA, is blaming the entire ANC leadership for the crisis at the power utility. Samkela Maseko has the story.
The labour movement is preparing itself for a battle over the future of Eskom. NUMSA General Secretary Ivan Jim says if it doesn't stand together with the National Union of Mine Workers, the power utility is as good as sold.
At the center of that is the unity of NUMSA NUM, and that both SAFTU and COSATU would think that they should put their prejudice aside and whatever challenges we had in the past, and we must mobilize the working class to unite them to defend Eskom.
Last year, the NUM and NUMSA marched side by side against the Independent Power Producers Program. Now the two unions once again seem to be speaking the same language. NUM General Secretary David Sipunzi previously had this to say about Eskom and the ANC.
We can no longer guarantee, and we are not in a position to say without fear that NUM members are definitely going to vote for ANC. They are grumbling. They are job losses. And on the issue of being consulted on the issue on unbundling of Eskom, there was absolutely no consultation on that. We were ignored.
Both unions are campaigning against the Eskom board and the company's executives, claiming they have no experience in the energy sector. Samkele Maseko, Johannesburg.
ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe isn't off the hook over sexual harassment allegations just yet. His accuser says the process that found him innocent was flawed. Juareno Kekana has now opened a case with police and is taking the matter to the CCMA. She sat down with our reporter Zikona Chona at her home in Alexandra.
and I don't regret ever speaking out, if anything.
For Juareno Kekana, working at the ANC's headquarters was a dream come true. This is an organization she has admired since childhood and calls it her second home. She feels most let down by the ANC leaders who testified against her.
You don't want to base your determination on what witnesses say, because they were not sexually harassed. I'm the one who was sexually harassed. It's about how I feel. It's about how my rights were violated by a senior staff member.
She says ridiculous claims have been made against her.
So people on Facebook, I've got various screenshots where they claim that there is 500,000 or something of that kind that was paid to me by the Cyril faction for me to run with the story.
Kekana claims Mabe also abused other colleagues.
No, someone said to me, if you don't report this man, it will get to a point where he says to you, sleep with me, otherwise you will lose your job.
Kekana has not been to work since last year when the accusations first came to light.
That man has inflicted pain in my life. He has shown me a side of me that I never thought existed, where I'm scared, I would shake when I see a person.
Kekana wouldn't detail exactly what happened to her, but says she's prepared for everything to be revealed in a court. Zikhona Shona, Alexandra in Johannesburg.
Well, the ANC grievance panel's chairperson, Stumo Dlamini, has defended the process in Pule Mabe's sexual harassment case. He says it was fair for both parties.
We would want to respect the right of our employee, whether she chooses to disagree. But what she cannot disagree with is the fairness of the process. It was a fair process. She was comfortable with the process till the end. Once she's got the outcomes, and it is expected, people may agree or disagree, but there are procedures then to follow. You don't start going public and say, I disagree with that process. You follow the procedure. For instance, in this instance, if you're not happy internally with the outcomes, you go to the CCMA, or you may decide to go to another institution.
Suspended Deputy NPA boss Nomngcobo Jiba says those who've made allegations against her are jealous of her success. Jiba appeared at the Mokgoro inquiry today, which is probing her fitness for office. She was close to tears when she spoke about what other witnesses have said about her at the inquiry.
The promotion, however, were never celebrated by all within the National Prosecuting Authority. As I recently found out, when evidence was being led at the inquiry, I was shocked to learn that people who I considered colleagues and committed patriots felt that I was not qualified to lead the NPA. The testimony of Advocate Brettenbach and Mr. Hofmeyer in particular revealed a deep resentment.
Well, Jiba also told the inquiry today that she never received a bribe in connection with Bosasa. Angelo Agrizzi, the former COO of the Facilities Management Company, told the State Capture Commission recently that Jiba was paid a 100,000 Rand bribe in return for information on the investigation into Bosasa. Well, Jiba said today this was simply not true and her only salary is from the NPA. Criminals targeted a school today while children were in class. A gang of armed men targeted Edenvale High School and held teachers at gunpoint. Children hid under their desks during a shootout that ensued. 2 men were shot dead by police. Another was wounded trying to flee. Our reporter Lindo Kulu has the story.
Help! Help, please, now. Edenvale High School's been robbed. Please help. Edenvale High School.
A distress call from Edenvale High School during the robbery.
Get there now. Anyone that can assist. I'm en route. Anyone that can assist. Edenvale High School's been robbed.
Police responded to the call. When they arrived at the school, a deadly shootout ensued with the fleeing suspects.
When they arrived, the suspects were on their way out. The shooting started. That's when the police returned fire. 2 suspects indeed were shot and killed. 1 is injured. 2 arrested, and the other suspect flee with the other 2 vehicles.
According to the school, The man gained entry by posing as parents. Edenvale High says it really has money on its premises. It's explained the 8,000 rand that was taken was from school trip payments.
We never keep money on our property at all. Today there were a limited number of people that paid into for the trip away. So no, I don't think it was an inside thing at all.
MEC Panyaza Lisufi has commended the men and women in blue.
Criminals must know if you point a firearm to the police person have the right to also defend themselves. And therefore, it's just unfortunate that lives are lost here. I came here looking for a school. I found bullets instead of ball pens.
Police have launched a manhunt for the suspects who escaped. Lindokuhle Xulu, Johannesburg.
Still ahead on eNews, as work begins immediately to bail out Eskom, rating agencies adopt a wait-and-see approach. Let's look at your business news now. And analysts believe the budget is enough to stave off a ratings downgrade for now. Finance Minister Tito Mbowene's spending plan for the country, however, showed just how badly we are in debt. Dimakatsu Togwana has the details.
South Africa is living beyond its means, and Moody's will be concerned. It's the only one of 3 major ratings agencies that hasn't downgraded the country to junk status. Revenue for the next financial year is forecast to come in at 1.58 trillion rand. But we need 243 billion rand more to meet our obligations.
For the financial support to Eskom,
this means the country has to borrow 1.2 billion rand a day, of which 1 billion goes to repaying interest on loans.
What that means is you're mortgaging your future tax revenues. You have to collect tax simply to pay off your interest, which of course causes this gap to service all the other needs.
Another worry is that October's projected budget deficit has worsened from 4.2% to 4.5% of GDP in the next financial year. Moody's is not expected to downgrade South Africa next month when it issues the country's sovereign rating, but it may put us on negative watch. Dimakatsu Tugwana, Johannesburg.
Let's take a look at the markets now. Very disturbing messages from former Cold War enemies. Russian President Vladimir Putin has threatened to target Washington. That's if the United States deploys missiles in Europe. Now, he was speaking during his annual address to the Federal Assembly. Putin says the US has ignored instructions of the Arms Control Treaty to liquidate the intermediate range missiles and launch installations. The Russian president warned US policymakers to calculate the risks before taking action.
Россия будет вынуждена создать и развернуть виды вооружений, которые могут быть использованы не только в отношении тех территорий, с которых для нас будет исходить соответствующая прямая угроза, но и в отношении тех территорий, где находятся центры принятия решений по применению угрожающих нам ракетных комплексов.
Well, still ahead, we'll go to the weather centre in Cape Town. Joel's standing by. Hi there, Joel, for all your weekend weather news. And then...
Hola.
Goeiemôre.
I am Jan Cassis.
As the world celebrates World Mother Tongue Day, we take you to the streets of Gauteng and bring you some of the plethora of languages on offer. Let's head down to Cape Town now, and Joel Guy standing by with your weather news. Joel, there were some incredible cloud formations over Johannesburg this afternoon. I'm wondering if we're in for a weekend of rain.
Yes, indeed, Sally. Well, we are seeing stormy weather returning in earnest into eastern South Africa as the summer season comes to a close. And as we go into Friday, we are going to be seeing cloudy rain and drizzly conditions going on over parts of KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Mpumalanga and Limpopo. It will be partly cloudy to cloudy for parts of the Eastern and Western Cape provinces, but mostly fine for the central and western interior. Then in the afternoon, those thundershows will pop up once again across the northeastern areas, including much of the Gauteng province, pushing down into KwaZulu-Natal and also into parts of the Eastern Cape. At the same time, the Northern Cape will continue to see lots of sunshine, and we have a warning here for high fire danger conditions. Runaway fires are very possible for much of the province, so you need to be very careful around any open fires in the Northern Cape. Then on a Friday night, we stay with thundershows for parts of Eastern South Africa. It will be mostly fine for the Cape provinces, but foggy over parts of the West Coast. Now, a mostly sunny and sizzling hot day is forecast on Friday for much of the Northern Cape, Abington shooting to around 41 degrees. We are going to see similar weather and afternoon temperatures for much of the Western Cape, Cape Town warming to around 32. Thundershows are forecast on Friday for the eastern areas of the Eastern Cape. The western parts will get away with partly cloudy skies, Port Elizabeth warming to around 25. We are also going to see thundery showers across much of KwaZulu-Natal, where highs in the mid to upper 20s are expected. Similar weather across much of the Mpumalanga province, Mbombela warming to around 27. It will be cloudy with light rain for the first part of the day over eastern Limpopo. Thundershows are forecast for the western sections, extending westwards into much of the northwest, where we stay with hot afternoon temperatures. It will be unsettled as well for the eastern and southern areas of the Free State. Dry, however, for Bloemfontein with a high of 34. Gauteng is also going to see stormy weather this Friday with top temperatures in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Now, just quickly looking ahead to the weekend, it's going to be stormy over the eastern areas with hot temperatures, mostly sunny and warm to hot for the western parts. Then on Sunday, dry weather sets in Gauteng, but thundershows continue in parts of KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga and around Limpopo. That's all from me for now, Sally. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Jogai in Cape Town. And finally, in the spirit of World Mother Tongue Day, that's today, if you didn't know, we asked some Gautengers to show off their language skills, and it seems we can show the rest of the world a thing or two when it comes to multilingualism. Slindile Masikane has those details.
With almost 15 million people in this province, Gauteng is where it's at when you want to say hello, heita, in a confident mother tongue kind of way.
In Portuguese, hello, you say hola.
You can say goeiemôre.
I am in Jankasis.
Molo. Molo. Tabela le kae? Re teng. What language is that? I ke Sepedi re gona re teng. But that's the easy part, right? Let's try something a little bit more advanced. You know, a midday, see you at the cooler type conversation at work. So tell me, how would I say I had an awesome weekend in Sepedi?
Ne ke na le letsatsi le le botse. Ekete fantastische Navia card.
Impela sonvo yami beyimnanzi.
O meu fim de semana foi perfeito.
Is there not a simpler version?
Yes, there is. You can say o meu fim de semana foi bom.
Ibimnandi impela viki yami.
Weekend yangu yaifadza.
So we got you midway through the day in a variety of languages. Let's say goodbye or see you later.
Uhambe kakuhle.
Usale kahle maki.
Leshala ngabotse.
Tonana.
Ciao.
Totsis. Nginguslindelo wakamasikane eGoli.
Absolutely fantastic. Here's a recap of your top stories this evening. The woman who accused ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe of sexual harassment says the party has failed her and she's going to court.
Help! Help, please now. Edenvale High School's been robbed. Please help. Edenvale High School.
And an attempted robbery at Edenvale High School in Johannesburg leaves 2 suspects dead and school children and teachers in complete shock. From me and the team, take care and good night.